My name is Jamal Rahman. I'm a Muslim, and I'm the Imam at Interfaith Community Sanctuary in Seattle. We recently, actually on November 1st, 2015, this year, we had a Muslim Intrafaith gathering, and 40 people came, a wonderful representation from Sunnis, Shias, Ahmadiyas, and we also had a handful of non-Muslims. And as I said, it was a fruitful discussion we had, interconnection, dialogues, and several inspirations came from this gathering. And if I may summarize them, I think in 4 main categories. One of them was the insight that really we have to do the inner work, the work of really evolving into the fullness of our being, becoming a more developed human being, to increase our capacity for compassion, for forgiveness, and really becoming aware of our conditioned biases and prejudices. The Quran says, God will not change the condition of a people unless they change their inner selves. This work is essential. In the same category, it was discussed that we also need to honestly speak the truth about our institutions, our mosques, that sometimes they are carriers of these sectarian biases and prejudices, and we need to call them out. That's the first area of many suggestions. The second inspired idea was that it would be very healing if the different sects or denominations, the representatives or those who want to speak, they really acknowledge and talk about their wounds, their pain, what they're suffering inside. So for example, a beautiful Shia brother, he stood up and he fervently, passionately spoke about the need for his non-Shia brothers and sisters to really understand the events of Karbala, the 7th century event in which the Prophet, peace be upon him, his grandson was brutally killed. And so he gave us resources, links, names of books, and as homework we were asked to read them before we come to the next meeting.
My name is Sai Bargalami, and I was born in northern Iran, Azerbaijan area into a Shiite family, and I was raised in a Shiite family. My commitment today is to overcome the divide between Shiite and Sunni tribes and understand each other. However, I don't think this divide will ever be realized unless we bring it down to compassion and understanding of each other. And I personally think this can only happen if we analyze and realize what happened in Karbala to Imam Hussein. And I believe that by acknowledging what happened there, only the beginning of healing can start, and forgiveness can come out of it. I have learned forgiveness from Jesus Christ, who I think said it best: when you forgive someone, you're actually releasing yourself, giving freedom to yourself as part of the forgiving person. So, however, that will never happen unless the understanding of the events that separated us can be realized and analyzed, and only then that we can get into a compassion level and get this demon out of amongst us.
Okay, good. So that's all I need for that. But my question to you is then, so it's primarily Sunnis that have to hear this, right?
Yes, but the Shiites have to realize that where the problem is.
Okay.
And I believe if Shiites, some of them, they don't understand. This is where it starts. And I think the divide really started there, and it has continued for 1,200 years. And it is so vivid to Shiites today as it just like happened yesterday. And it will be like that another 2,500 years from now. So it is time now to start healing and to start finding ways to get rid of this divide that there amongst us. The United States is a great country because it allows different religions and different people can unite and express themselves and live their life. And today in the world arena, I don't think there's a better place than the United States to start this and spread it into the world.
Okay, that's it. You got it. I got it. Great.
So we realize that we need to listen to the wounds and pains and the sufferings they're feeling inside.
Yes, my name is Mariam Kieu.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Vietnam. In fact, I was raised in a Catholic convent in Vietnam. I came here in 1975 when I was 19 years old at the end of the Vietnam War. I came across Islam when I was 38 years old. So one of the major reasons that I'm here today is because of that the Vietnam War ended, and it had a successful end. If it didn't end, there would have been a lot more suffering going on. And I attribute the end of the Vietnam War largely to a very successful anti-war movement in the United States. And often I wish and I wonder whether we could do a root cause analysis of what happened then during the Vietnam War and what's going on today, and why is that we're not having a successful anti-war movement? Is it not strong enough? Is it misdirected? Or is it because we don't have enough information about why each of these wars is going on? Or are we receiving the wrong information? The most successful way to do that would, I would think, that through open dialogues and people who have different level of access to information, and hoping that we can be more informed. I think that it would be a wonderful, first of all, be a wonderful opportunity, because no matter what spiritual background people have, most people that I talk to, whether in individual or groups, have an innate desire to fight against wars that are committed against humanity. So for us just to come come together to work towards a common cause, to end war crimes against humanity, is a wonderful way to pull all faith together and to work, with each other as human beings rather than people of certain faith. I think if we, as the human race, comes to realization one day that the effects of wars are far beyond just the morbidity and mortality that happen during wartime itself, but war often have scars and wounds that last way beyond after the war ended. For example, in Vietnam now, we still have many victims of Agent Orange. We still have people who are still stepping on landmines. And we're talking about 40 years later. And we still have that. And this is not even going to post-traumatic stress syndrome among civilian as well as fighters at the time. I think we can learn a great deal about those wars if we are open-minded and watch more than just, let's say, Fox News, and be humble enough to admit that, yes, we were let into the war based on certain information. Now the information is turned out not to be correct. That we be humble enough to say, okay, we made a mistake. And it's never too late to pull out. And as I mentioned before, the impacts of war is not just only the body count we have on the battlefield. I mean, the scars and wounds of war goes beyond that, the destruction of history. I mean, I often think of Baghdad. To me, it's not unsimilar. Baghdad is not unsimilar to, let's say, Rome, where all civilization converged. And here, just think that the destruction of war has, destroyed this piece of history that is a gift to mankind is really sickening. And this is even beyond like I said, the body count we see on the battlefield. And then, yes, and the refugee crisis that comes as a side effect of war.
The third inspiration was, it's very beautiful to very humbly and sincerely ask for forgiveness for people we have harmed. So, for example, it was said that we in South Asia, maybe in other parts of the world too, we Sunnis, for example, we have truly oppressed, discriminated against, acted in violence against the Ahmadiyya sect of Muslims. In fact, in Pakistan, they're not even recognized as being Muslims. We need to say, please, on behalf of our co-religionists, please forgive us. We need to heal those wounds, come together, and cooperate and collaborate.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'm Dr. Ibrahim Saudi, and I'm a Muslim from Egypt. I don't like to specify or say that I'm a specific type of Muslim. I just follow the teachings of Muhammad, the Prophet. And I always say that what is good enough for Muhammad is good enough for me. I have been actually active quite a bit in world affairs in general, because as a Muslim, my job is not just to care about Muslims. No. My job is to care about the whole universe. And there is a verse actually in the Quran where Allah talks to the Prophet Muhammad and tells him, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. I haven't sent you except as a mercy, not just for mankind. It's actually for even animals, for the environment, for the whole creation of Allah. So I have been pushing for that. And also in the Quran, Allah describes Muslims as people who handle their differences via dialogue. وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ. That the people who really believe in Allah should solve their differences via negotiations and dialogue rather than taking up arms and causing destruction. Because you don't win. When you start warring with each other, you don't win. Everybody loses. Even the ones who win temporarily loses actually on the long term. I have proposed the three things that I am also, inshallah, will follow up on. A continuous dialogue between Muslims of different backgrounds on a local level. And I'm the one who started the dialogue tonight, and inshallah that will spread as a global issue between Muslims. The second one, we need a global dialogue between Muslims. We need to create something like the Muslim Union, for example, kind of like the European Union. Why wouldn't the Europeans be able to form a union to bring them together with all their differences, religion and background and politics and everything? The Europeans succeeded in creating something called the European Union. We as Muslims should also create something like the European Union. We have a yearly conference called Hajj, pilgrimage, where Muslims from every country in the world go to perform one corner or pillar of the Islam. Why don't we take advantage of that and form a conference attached to Hajj, where actually Muslims representing every country in the world sit together in one big hall and get to know each other, talk about the problems in every part of the world, and then find common solutions. My commitment is I will be pushing for all these things over the coming days and years, as I have been doing in the past. what I would like to see is we continue what we have done today, make it a regular event, not just a one-time event, and also start actually listening to each other in terms of what makes us different from each other. Like, I don't like to say people talking to each other, I actually like to say people listening to each other. I would like us to listen to each other, and then maybe you can also correct somebody's understanding or let them have better idea why do you understand things different than them, rather than just because we disagree then we don't talk to each other, because that leads to actually the idiots, excuse me for the expression, the idiots on all sides actually taking charge of the situation and making a mess out of it rather than actually improving it. So on the local level, inshallah, I will be pushing for this continuous listening to each other.
In the discussions that followed after the meeting, some beautiful insights also came additionally. So for example, it was said that if their beliefs are wrong, we think they're wrong, and they're committing a grave error, this grave error, this wrongdoing, it goes into their hisab. Hisab means into their book of accounts, not in ours. Why do we get so agitated?
My name is Khan Hussain. I'm originally from India. I consider myself to be a Shia Muslim, but I have extended Sunni family. My father was president of 2 Sunni mosques in Bombay, India. One of the mosques was the foundation with his own hand that today almost 1,000 people pray Salat al-Jummah, which is Friday prayer. And my wife is also a Sunni. So that is my background when it comes to sectarian. And I do pray I go pray at Sunni mosques, Sunni centers, especially like Friday prayers and other prayers. And of course I pray at Shia mosque, and I'm involved in mostly on the Shia side, but I'm also involved on the Sunni side. Yeah, so my personal commitment, and it's my passion to work on this sectarian issue which is claiming people's life by building relationship, opening dialogues, clearing misconceptions. We are all brother in humanity or brother in faith. So that is very important to me. This sectarian thing is taking life in people in Middle East, in the Muslim world, which is very sad and sorrowful. And I hope building bridges, building relationship with other sects, it will help us clearing the misconceptions and living people peacefully in everywhere, even in US or in the Middle East. The first we have to start with the grassroots level of starting dialogue, building relationship with people from all sects, I would say. Shia, Sunni, Ahmadiyyas, whoever claims to be Muslims, every Muslims, I would encourage them to open a dialogue, invite people to their centers, build relationship, build personal relationship, talk to them, and use media if you can, make programs, try to create an event and get together. Any kind of dialogue, any kind of relationship that you can do will move in a positive step. The first topic is clearing the doubts and talking about commonalities instead of difference. If you see the Shias and Sunnis, as I have a mixed family, I can say 95% we are same. Like we do the same Hajj, same Salah, same Zakat, same Quran, pretty much same, except we have little bit here and there difference. Of course there is difference, but there is not much difference like we have been crazy involved in this sectarian violence and differences.
The last point, the last inspirational ideas was that let's all of us, no matter what sects we belong to, let's cooperate and collaborate and participate in a joint project in the area of social justice or earth care, which we can identify as the time goes on. I'm particularly glad to say that we had two sisters who volunteered to lead the next Muslim Interfaith gathering to happen at Interfaith Community Sanctuary in December.
My name's Azra Rahim, and I'm a Muslim. I do not say that lightly because I did not come to my religion easily. I rebelled against it, much to the chagrin of my parents. But I think as you grow older in life, you realize that you have to take a stand, not just by what you do, but also by who you are being in the world. And for me, part of that has been recognizing and standing proudly in the fact that I am Muslim. There's this quote that goes something like this: I was smart and I wanted to change the world, but now I'm wise and I want to change myself. And I mean, that's what life is. It's really about creating and nurturing the change in you that you want to see in the world. And it is with your daily interactions with everyday people in everyday circumstances that will create the critical mass that we're all looking for. If you work in the world with love and acceptance, well, that ripples forth. And really, that's all that you can expect any human being to do. And that's what I want to work on.
The last point I want to make is that we invited deliberately some non-Muslims to come, because we have found through our work, the work of the Interfaith Amigos at Interfaith Community Sanctuary, and from people who have done this work elsewhere, that if you, in an interfaith Muslim meeting, for that matter, any interfaith meeting, but in this particular one, if you invite non-Muslims to also participate, this raises the level of the conversation in a very positive direction, plus it creates the capacity for creative ideas to flow. And this we found to be true in this particular Muslim interfaith gathering we had. There was a lot of enthusiasm in this gathering, and we decided that for sure we'll have ongoing Muslim interfaith gatherings, and the next one is in December of 2015. The date will be announced, and the video will also be posted. Please keep up with our videos. Thank you so much.